We're back now at 8:08. University of Virginia lacrosse star Yardley Love was laid to rest over the weekend. Her ex-boyfriend is charged in her murder. It's a tragic case that has shed light on dating violence, especially in younger relationships. Here's NBC's Miguel Almaguer.
Beautiful, athletic, and weeks away from graduating college, Yardley Love was just 22 years old. Last week, her murder rocked the University of Virginia, and it shocked those who knew her best. The homicide even more devastating because police believe it came at the hands of an allegedly violent ex-boyfriend and a fellow student. But Yardley's story isn't as uncommon as one might think.
The first time it was literally him taking me and throwing me across the room.
Veronica Mesa was also that girl next door and a young woman trapped in a violent relationship. The former high school homecoming queen started dating her ex-boyfriend when she was 13. Soon mental abuse turned physical. By 19, she says her life was in jeopardy.
He absolutely threatened my life on several occasions, and towards the very end, as things started to get more intense, he really made me believe that he was going to kill me and end my life.
Those most vulnerable are typically those most at risk. 1.5 million high school students nationwide experience physical abuse from a partner every year. 1 in 3 adolescent girls is abused in some form by someone they're seeing.
Dating abuse is rampant among young people. They are involved in relationships just like adults. Those relationships mirror adult relationships in the level and severity of violence, and they are just sometimes as dangerous as adult abusive relationships.
Veronica escaped her relationship battered and bruised, but says she was lucky to get out with her life. Not everyone does.
A charming personality and a compassionate spiritual soul.
In 2007, Demi Kusha was murdered by her ex-boyfriend. The 16-year-old found stabbed to death in her own living room. Demi's father is now out to do what he couldn't for his own daughter, educate young teens about violent relationships that can so quickly turn deadly. For today, Miguel Almaguer, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Demi's father, Gary Kusha, is here along with Jill Murray, a psychotherapist who specializes in teenage dating abuse. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And Mr. Kusha, our condolences. I know you are determined to let something good come out of this, and you're working with legislators in your own state. You want education on this. You want them to start at an early age to tell people the signs of what can happen.
Yeah, we need to do something. We live in a different time now, and we need to empower our children with some form of tools to protect themselves, and education is a good place to start.
Did Demi talk to you about warning signs? Did she express fears? Did you see anything in this young relationship, again, she was 16, that sent a red flag up in your mind?
No, not. I don't believe Demi knew that this relationship could potentially turn lethal like it did. Looking back, now that I've educated myself, there were some signs that maybe we should have picked up on. But at the time, you know, you think, hey, maybe he's just a little bit controlling, a little bit over-possessive. You just shrug it off as a teenager being a little bit more, you know, jealous or so.
It's now come to light, and it came to light, I think, in the trial, that after your daughter and this young man broke up, he started to text message her. And these were not your run-of-the-mill text messages. They were obsessive. I have to see you. I want to see you now. Had you known about those, would you have taken a different course?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we were unaware of that. The excessive texting, like you said, after she broke up with him, it was almost like a panic-stricken mode where I have to see you, we have to talk. And, you know, Demi, after 2 days of this, basically of badgering her with text messages, she agreed to let him come over so that they could talk, and he took advantage of the situation and killed her.
Dr. Murray, if there's ever an example of where the one-strike policy should be in effect, you know, you do one thing wrong, you raise a hand to someone one time, or you send these kind of messages, it would seem this is the perfect application.
Absolutely, Matt. I would say even before it gets to that, if a boyfriend isolates you from your friend, from your family, from your outside activities, from your house of worship, if he's blaming you a lot, if you're crying in your relationship, if he's texting you all night, that's the first strike for me.
If a child or a teenage child, young adult goes to a parent, or if a parent somehow finds out about this, doctor, some might be reluctant to get involved because they'll be accused of their child of meddling. What would you say to those parents who are concerned about that this morning?
I would say don't be pals, be parents. Your child needs you to get involved. You know, a lot of times kids are in these relationships, Matt, because they think that they're in love, but really they don't have the life experience to deal with something like this and understand that love is a behavior, not a feeling. If you think that there's something wrong, you need to get involved right away.
Gary, I think that's an important point. I mean, your daughter may have not had the experience of dealing with any real complicated and difficult relationships, and as a result, been more vulnerable to something like this.
That's exactly right. She actually had a crush. This boy that did this was a good friend of my son's, Demi's older brother, who had been around for a number of years, and she kind of had a crush on him, thought she liked him, but ultimately Demi realized that there was something wrong with this relationship, and she tried to break it off with him.
And doctor, you feel that if there are any kind of signs that something might be wrong, it's important for an older male to get involved here. Why do you say that?
Because abusive boyfriends don't respect women, period. And so I think a dad or a dad figure, an older brother, a male teacher, a grandfather, or an uncle, those are the people that should sit down and have a man-to-man with this kid and tell him what's up.
Yeah, but again, the signs have to be there, and you didn't see the signs. They weren't present in her daily life.
Yeah, no, they didn't like stand out at you. We didn't see them. I mean, looking back, there were some things. There was a period of time where Demi loved cheerleading, and he wanted her to quit cheerleading. And I told Demi, oh, he's crazy. You know, you do what you want to do. It's your life. And but looking back, you know, yeah, that's a warning sign.
It's controlling behavior.
Absolutely. And another thing, real quick, towards the end of the last 2 weeks of her life, she was having a hard time, like eating, digesting her food, and you know, that's a classic warning sign too that something's wrong, and we just were unaware of
Mr.
that.
Kusha,
So.
I appreciate you sharing your story. I know how difficult it is, and again, my condolences.
Yeah, thank you, man.
And Dr. Murray, thank you as well.